Welcome to Jeevan Staunton Stocks. It's Jeevan here, Stephen Jeevan. Getting a little bit wiser, a bit like Gandhi, but nowhere near as fucking cool, especially not anywhere near as cool as Beard. But I've been really studying, really working, really clocking the hours in, and really taking the approach that I really don't know a lot about the market, and there's so much information out there, and I've just got to study my ass off to get to the next level. And it's been working. I'm up over $3,000 in the last 18 days, back-to-back $1,000 weeks. And it's coming together, but there's so much more work to do. And just going to keep on grafting, and I hope you keep on grafting too, and we'll get straight into it. So very, very sweet week, sweet month. I think the key is really not having these big red days, to kind of limit them and to trade carefully with more refined entry points. And I've really just been sticking to a few setups, and I'm on my best month ever now with, I mean, it's, like I say, it's three grand in 18 days. 3 grand plus in back-to-back $1,000 win days. And a lot of it comes from the gap and crap strategy, which I actually sell in a DVD. It's basically $100. You can send it to the YouTube description link. It's paypal.me/junk87. It's the top link in the YouTube description. And for $100, you get this chart with all of the data in Excel, but it's a 1-hour video guide of how to use the Excel, how to interpret the data in the Excel, what the data in the Excel is, how to find an edge, and then like 50-40 minutes of me just going chart through chart through chart through chart through chart of how I apply the data and the edge to specific patterns. And there's 50, 60, 70 tickers or whatever. So like I say, it's very promising, very excited. I did kind of have a target in the back of my head of $1,000 weeks, starting to hit them, and then starting to hopefully hit 4 grand months. And once I'm there, then we'll see what's next. Hey mate, how you going? This is another one of them charts which provides a better lesson rather than how much money I made. And it's a real great case study of looking for the first red day, looking for the crack on a hugely overextended stock. Normally I love playing the front side of the move, and I still do, but I'm trying to learn the backside and how to play it best. So let me just talk you through why this is a good short first. I mean, we have a reverse split from the 50s to the 4s, and then from the 4s we've had this kind of coil, and then it's just ripped on earnings, and it's gone from basically the 370s, the 4s, to the 20s. Now it's up like 700%. Now that must be some pretty fucking good earnings if it's up 700% for the earnings report. And we can look through very quickly because I don't want to labor on the SEC filing too much. But these guys have $4,000 in cash, so they're obviously not the most profitable company. I have more than $4,000 in cash, and I'm a human. Important to notice the liabilities versus the assets. The liabilities outweigh the assets, so they've got kind of more that they're responsible for than they actually have ownership for in terms of like the building costs, any kind of product manufacturing equipment, stuff like that. So they actually have more liabilities than assets, which is a pretty bad sign. And when it comes to the net revenue, yeah, whatever the midnight product game was, whatever the fuck it was, they sold $40,886 worth of units, which generated a profit of $15,029. However, when it comes to sales and marketing, admin costs, total operating expenses, building costs, they actually made a net loss of $1,926. On the next sheet down, we can see that made a comprehensive income loss of $2,117. So this might be in some fucked up way considering an earnings winner, but it's not really an earnings winner because the company lost on the quarter. The reason that the news seems to be good is because it lost 10 grand the quarter before, or the 3 months ended before, and it only lost 2,000 this time. So it's a little bit better than this time last year or whatever. Get into the chart. It is obviously a company losing less than it lost the year before, having more liabilities than assets. It's just not a fucking reason to be up 700%. It's ridiculous. So this stock has to come back down. It's just a question of when. So I've been watching this stock go up, and I look at it on different time frames. Because the thing is, when is the stock going to come down? So it's had its run from the 3s, it's gone from the 10s to the 12s and the 12s to the 16s. And generally what I try and look for, and we saw it here and we saw it here, I'm looking for kind of a weak close and then the spike to short into. So that when this was a really kind of nice weak close on 15s, and then it pops up to here, double tops, you have a potential short. I missed this short, I shorted the lower high. I was in and out of this all over the place, to be honest. And I was in, I think my final short on this, I was in the 1560s, 1570s. And I was out in the morning when it squeezed. So I took about $400-500 on that one. But ultimately, it had another leg up. It got overloaded with shorts, short in here, short in here. Longs recognize this, so they're taking it long. Shorts think this company's fucked, so I'm just going to average up and average up. Then it gets too painful and they buy themselves back in, which creates the squeeze. But eventually it gets to the point where it starts to look more backside. And in these 3 days, you can see it a lot better on 5s. And I've just marked out the last 3 days. So we have this push. And then it's kind of looks like it's coming down, has one final squeeze here. But what I really, really like about this price action is we've got the push, and then it creates this head and shoulders. So we've got a spike. I'll just mark this out, and there are some lines here, but it makes sense. We've got this final spike here, okay, which is like, yep, it's bullish. It might be going to the 25s, it might be going to the 30s. Comes back down, bases off support. We've obviously got this support here based on this high here. So I'm just mapping out 5-minute support lines over 15 days to map out kind of where I think the stock's going to top and where it's going to bottom. But when it creates this new multi-year high here, it drops back down to support, pops back up, but it doesn't really break out much here. It only gets to like the 20s. And like, for example, when it broke out here, it was huge, and then it came down, and then it broke out here, and it was like huge. It was like another $4 move, but this is only a couple of dollars. So when it comes back down, I'm thinking, okay, this might be near the end. And the kind of the confirmation for me was when it pops in the morning, and the morning's when it should have most of its strength, and it fails to get over this high, it makes this kind of head and shoulders pattern. So you've got the left shoulder here, and the right shoulder here, and the head here, which forms the head and shoulder pattern. So when this comes down, I'm thinking, wait, backside, backside, backside. And then I was thinking, if it breaks this level here, I'll try and rate it from the 1850s to the 18s. So then if we just try and scroll in a little bit more onto the actual day, looks a bit clearer. We have the right shoulder here, dips, holds support, pops back up. When it washes through the support line, I'm basically shorting weakness, but I'm shorting on the backside of the move and it's coming down. And I'm shorting small. And then I covered when it couldn't break the 17s in here, around this area. And then I could have added into this bounce, but here's so whippy I didn't. And then it's had a leg down and a leg down. So in some instances, it's okay to short weakness when the tape's getting heavy in your small position. You can take a little bit of short weakness when it's the backside, when the trend's broke, when all the longs are underwater. And what will happen today? I mean, my best guess is if it gaps down, we're going to see it basically fall through this level. Or we might get a bit of consolidation and then it will fall through the level. Or if it pops up and retest this level and holds, you could see it retesting the high days. You really don't know how it's going to react. You just have to wait and see. Thanks. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And sometimes it's good to reflect and think, remember when I first started and everyone was like, this kid will never make it. And it's amazing to see where I am now. And I don't hate on the people who said I would fail, because it's a crazy mammoth task. And I was saying, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to be a millionaire. And it takes an extraordinary level of commitment and sometimes more work than I thought. It's harder and more time consuming, and the psychological ups and downs, and times where I've just wanted to cry and been miserable, but then times I've been ecstatically happy. It's been just an insane whirlwind, but the best things that have come out of it have not been the money, because I haven't frankly made a lot,
but more the connections, the friends, the support of that one trader gives to the other, and building something sustainable that other people can learn from, which is obviously you guys who are coming into it newer than even me, because I'm the new person, not so new anymore. I'm like kind of coming into 2 years in now, a year and a half to 2 years in. So stay with it. Good advice Tim Bourne once gave to us the first time I spoke to him was, no matter what you do, Stephen, just never quit. This was one of the first sentences he ever said to me on Skype, the first time I ever spoke to him when we got put in touch to do the podcast together. He's like, just don't quit, whatever you do. And I was like, dude, this is my life, I'll never quit. But I want to pass this advice on now to you, don't quit.
Just where to put all your faith, and how will it grow? Gonna rise up.